Hey, it's David Sherry. This is Founder Therapy. I help $1 million business owners run better businesses, grow their company, and expand their value. Today, I want to talk about until you see your own value, why would anyone else? One of the most common frustrations that I hear from people who are building businesses, especially freelancers and consultants and coaches, is this persistent question of why don't people see the value that I provide? And it shows up in 1,000 small ways. You've grown, you've developed your skill set, you're bringing more to the table, and yet the relationship or the arrangement that you're in, it feels like it's frozen in time and your rates haven't changed and the dynamic is still the same. And you know that you've made progress, but the other person isn't noticing, or you're wanting them to notice. You're wanting them to pay you more or to recognize the growth that you've gone through. And I found myself in that situation as somebody who likes to grow and is constantly growing and evolving. I'm always in sync or out of sync with the different people that I work with, given the level of growth that I'm having. And I've found myself wanting to feel like I could be compensated more or seen more for the value that I've been providing. And it took me a long time to start to recognize what was going on. And as much as I wanted somebody else to say, wow, we're so blown away by how much you've grown, we're going to pay you more, what I realized is that the truth is you have to see your own value before you can present it to others. Before you can get paid more, you need to understand and see your own level of value. No one else is going to give that to us. We need to become and see for ourselves the value that we can provide. So it's not a pricing problem. It's not a contract problem. It's a perception problem. It's a perception of yourself. My own perception of myself was out of date. And so naturally, the people that I work with are still meeting me in the same way that I was meeting them, which is really based on an old version of me. And so your value, it's not just your skill set alone. And a lot of people think it's just about improving their skill set or their service or the output. And that is that's part of it for sure. But it's also the perception that you have of yourself. So let me explain it this way. Can you imagine somebody who has this radical perception of themselves beyond their skill set, way beyond how much value they can actually provide, and somehow the market is rewarding them for that, even though they don't really have the skill set? Could it be that somebody who has less skills than you, who has less experience than you, is getting paid significantly more? And I think the answer is yes. And that's because their sense of self is greater and they see themselves as having the value that maybe they don't even have. And that dynamic might not work in the long run, but it's working for now. And you're feeling a bit frustrated or jaded seeing someone else with less skills than you getting paid more. But it's because their own sense of themselves reflects what they're charging, reflects how they communicate about themselves, reflects how they tell the story of what they do and how they can help. And so what I wanted to communicate today is that there's a process we all need to go through of catching up with the growth that we've had to actually see ourselves in a new light. And I see this all the time with my clients. I see this thing happen where until they start to unlock for themselves this new understanding of value that they can provide for others, until they have the confidence to do that, they're unable to break through a certain revenue milestone. It's this strange thing. As soon as a client clicks and it clicks in their head, wait a second, I'm not just providing this, I can actually provide this level of value. I'm someone who I feel confident that I can do that. That's when they're able to upgrade and grow their revenue. So this is a self-perception issue. It's something that we all must work on in the process of growing. And I'd also say get very used to this ongoing dynamic where your growth in skill set might outpace your growth in confidence. And once these two catch up, that's when the rubber meets the road and you're able to actually be seen by the market in the way you want. So I wanted to share this take it's not quite manifesting, but it's not quite focusing on your skill set either. It's something in between where you're recognizing through confidence of actually having ability that you are at a new level, and you now start to tell other people confidently about the level that you're in. And my friend always tells me this quote, and this is what I'll leave you with, that the world will ask you who you are, and if you don't tell them, they will tell you. And I think that quote is really true. The world is going to ask you who you are, and it's up to you to tell the world who you are, and do it from a steady foundation of true confidence from actually building the skill sets that you have. So it might be that you actually don't have the skills, and that's why faking it doesn't work for you, and it's time to actually really build that confidence. But if you've already got the skill set, can you start to see in yourself what you hope others will see in you? So I'll leave you with that today. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. You can like and subscribe if you want more videos like this. I talk about value, I talk about communication, I talk about how to expand as an entrepreneur, and I'll be back again with more videos like this very soon. Later.